From KARK4 and Fox 16, this is a special report. Here's Mitch McCoy.
Hello, good afternoon from Studio B here in Little Rock. I'm Mitch McCoy. We have breaking news. The governor just announced a few moments ago that the state has recorded nearly 11,000 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. Active cases now skyrocketing above 71,000. I want to get to the COVID case report. It was released just a few moments ago. These are the numbers. We're talking about 10,974 new COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. Active cases have now really exceeded 71,000, a total of 71,134. Hospitalizations have increased by 37, bringing us to nearly 1,200, and 14 more deaths have been recorded in the last 24 hours. But again, these are both record-breaking days across to Arkansas as the state records 10,974 new cases, active cases now exceeding the 71,000 mark, the most cases ever at one time in the state of Arkansas, the most cases ever in a 24-hour period as the state records that nearly 11,000 new cases. It is a record-breaking day across our state, really a sad moment as people continue to rush to get tested for the coronavirus. There is now a mad dash across the state right now, whether it be your public health unit, whether it be libraries, people are rushing to get tested for the coronavirus. I want to bring in Katrin Asaf. You see her there now. Katrin, you've been going to these locations across the state today. Kind of catch us up to speed on what you're seeing at these various health units, the public libraries, as people try and get these at-home testing kits.
Well, Mitch, the bottom line is that there just really isn't that many left, if any. It's definitely a struggle for people to try and find them. We started at the Central Arkansas Library Systems to try and begin our hunt there. Remember, this was really first thing in the morning, just after around 10:30, just before 11 when we began our hunt. They told us that the entire library system was out at that point. Now, again, these tests were just starting to be given out yesterday, so within 24 hours to have most of them gone really shows the demand from people for these at-home kits. We were told that the Lehman Library in North Little Rock, which is where I'm at now, had a few left. We were able to grab one, so I want to show you. Here's what they look like. They're bright orange. These are the ones that are being handed out. They have 2 kits inside, and they're being given out per household per person. So there's a select number being given out per person per household with 2 kits inside. But just before noon, this library here actually also ran out of them, as well as the Argenta branch. At last report, the health departments are kind of your best bet. I did call around to the Pulaski County Regional Health Center. The 8th Street location, last time I checked, had a few left. The 10th Street, though, was completely gone. We were told by the Central Arkansas Library System that they are hoping to get more by the end of the day today. I think they said around 5:30, 6 o'clock. So if you are desperate to get this today, there's a chance that you could call those libraries and see if they have them. I know here at the Lehman Library, they said it's going to be closer to tomorrow morning when they finally get new shipments, but it's just astounding how quickly these tests have gone. And we saw people just now walking in, asking if they had the kits, calling nonstop. The phone has been ringing off the hook. So it is something that I think people are still desperate to have, and they did go very quickly.
Katrin Asaf live for us she continues to monitor the record-breaking cases in our state. Katrin, we're looking at a map right now of all of these locations, but you're saying it would appear that the best bet, if people are trying to find those at-home test kits, is to go to the local health units, which would be highlighted in green on the map. Which, by the way, for folks who are just joining us, that is available on our website at KARK.com, fox16.com.
Yes, I think from what we have been told and what we have seen from these local departments, they're kind of the ones who may have some at this point, but really you're going to be pressed to find any in the Little Rock, North Little Rock metro area. I think your best bet would be to check those out. Of course, make calls before you show up just to see that they have them, because the last thing you want to do is drive a good distance just to get there to find out that they are gone. If you call libraries, like I said, the Central Arkansas Library System is expecting to possibly have more tonight. So you could also try those areas again tonight around 5:30 and 6 to see, but that's not guaranteed at this moment. You might just have to be making calls and sitting tight for the time being.
Katrin, how hard was it for you to get a test, and what does that process look like if for somebody who's maybe trying to get one?
So really, the hardest part was just trying to find a location that still had them. Again, for us, it took driving, it took calls, it took us going on that map on our website to see exactly where they were being offered, calling the local health department, calling all these different libraries and distribution centers to see how many they had left. For here, when they did have some, it was a fairly easy process. We just had to walk in. They had a slip of paper. They asked how many people were in your household that you were getting tests for. They reminded you that there were 2 tests per kit. And then they handed the slip to someone else who then got your tests and handed them to you. So really, once they do have these test kits, it's a very easy, quick process. You walk in, you're handed the test, and you walk out. Remember, though, if you are getting them at a health department or a library, most of them require masks to go in. So make sure you don't forget those if you're trying to get these. Really, the hardest part was just finding a location that still had them in stock, so to speak. But once you actually have them and you go up to get them, it's a really quick and easy process. And for many people initially we were speaking with, they said, yeah, it takes less than 5 minutes to go and get these testing kits.
Katrin Asaf at one of those testing units. Katrin, I know I got to let you go. We will see you at 4 o'clock on KARK4 and of course Fox 16 News at 5:30 as Katrin Asaf is monitoring the testing situation in Arkansas as these cases unfold. Katrin Asaf, thanks for your report. Appreciate it.
Of course, Mitch, thank you very much.
Thanks. We'll see you at 4 o'clock on Channel 4, of course, Fox 16 News at 5:30 as well. If you're just joining us, I want to recap what we know. The COVID case report that just came out, the governor announced it about 15 minutes ago. We're now looking at 10,974 new cases. That was in the last 24 hours. Active cases now exceed 71,000. Hospitalizations now at an additional 37, pushing us to 1,185. 14 additional deaths have been recorded here in today's report. And this is just announced a few minutes ago by the governor. As we continue to see these cases climb. It is worth noting that we are also seeing a record in the number of tests today. There is a record number of people being tested for the coronavirus, which could explain this massive amount of new cases in the last 24 hours and why active cases have reached an all-time high. It's also worth noting here that the second shipment of at-home tests has been received by the state of Arkansas. The governor announced that just a short while ago, where the governor is saying that they will be deploying those across to Arkansas to locations like where Katrin is at, your local health units, the public library, trying to get more of these tests in the from the most rural parts of Arkansas to the most populated parts, the urban parts of the city, Little Rock, the metro area, Fayetteville, Jonesboro, areas where there's a heavy population. And what we're also learning and what the governor has said and what the governor is reiterating today is that he, along with his team, is monitoring the hospitalizations. Obviously, that is a growing concern in this state. We are quickly approaching the number of total hospitalizations during the Delta peak. There were 1,400 plus, 1,459 if I remember correctly. Let me look at my notes. Yeah, 1,459 hospitalizations. That was back set on August 16th. That was the record number of hospitalizations. And you can see that as we record 10,974 new cases, we are quickly approaching that hospitalization record, which was set back in mid-August during the peak of the Delta surge. Again, that is the case report today. Of course, we will continue to follow the very latest on this. We will continue to monitor those testing locations across to Arkansas as people continue to try and find those at-home testing kits. A record number of tests today in today's COVID report, along with a record number of people being a record number of people testing positive for the virus. You see it there, 10,974 new cases, along with a record number of current active cases in this state. For now, I'm Mitch McCoy. This has been a special report from KARK4 and Fox 16, a live report coming up at 4 p.m. on Channel 4 and, of course, Fox 16 News at 5:30 as we continue to track the coronavirus. Have a good rest of your day.